You straight up cuckooed that dude, bro. Oh my God.
You've got all your Charger gear on because
Feeling fresh as hell.
Well, you guys better enjoy it.
The fans loved it.
You have to love what you're seeing on tape if you're a Chargers fan, especially for the future with Justin Herbert.
On the move and throws and touchdown.
Do this together. Players, coaches, staff, fans, together we can create something truly special.
Stay tuned for some good content.
Well, hello there, all you beautiful people. Welcome back to the Charger Chat. I'm your co-host, Wool Dog, sitting with my buddies, Kev, Hug, and Duggan.
Sorry for Friday's episode when we didn't have video. I'm frozen, man.
And Kyle, the coach, Duggan.
Yeah. I'm not going to apologize because it wasn't my fault.
No, it was still, dude. I'll tell you right now, my dad has texted me twice on that episode alone just because of that story. That story is
Yeah.
the best. I
I
will.
might need to do like a South Park style animation, just like clip out and just like tell a whole story.
Just a little Paw Patrol.
It might
was
be worth
pretty
it.
fun. It's going to go down in my forever like memory book.
As
Yeah.
it should.
Yeah.
If you and that goes to say, if you haven't listened to Friday's episode and you don't have a lot of time, just listen
Do
to the
yourself a
first
favor.
10 minutes.
First 10, 15 minutes. Yeah.
At,
Worth it.
at
It's
the
a good
very
story.
least, it's one of the best stories we've ever had on this show, and you will not regret it.
You will not regret it.
Especially during this off season when there's not a lot going on, folks. There's a few little stories we'll talk about here, and we've always got Bolt Insight and a very special fan focus. But looking around the news, not a lot going on. There's a lot of just kind of hearsay, some conjecture, some maybes, some what ifs, and
A lot
the
of
big
a lot
one.
of waiting for the combine. That's pretty much
That's
what
right.
everyone's doing.
Yeah.
Waiting
And
for the
free agency's
combine,
coming up
free
on us quick too. Yeah.
Yeah, we're refreshing every day to see something, some hot little tidbit of
Yeah.
news. And really the only stuff we've got right now is there is this rumor going around, and Charger fans talked about this happening, and so it's not a surprise to necessarily see it, but there is at least now sources that tell Tony Pauline that the Chargers are a team to watch if Davante Adams hits the free agent market. So they said, I'm told Los Angeles Chargers, who are under the cap a little more than $58 million, are another team to watch. The Chargers will be paying veteran Keenan Allen a projected $19 million in 2022. However, wide receiver 2 Mike Williams is set to hit free agency. Adams would be an upgrade and gives Justin Herbert a lethal weapon.
What do you guys think? You can't say
Lethal
zero.
weapon.
What percentage chance do you think there is of Davante Adams being a Charger next year?
I'll give it 10%.
Can't say zero.
I'll go 10.
How much? 10?
10. Justin Herbert's number. It's easy.
I'll say
Just always on the tip of your tongue.
Yeah.
I'll say just a little below 50. I'll say 49.
Whoa.
Whoa.
You have a good
that's
feeling.
bold.
So I don't know. I think it's interesting, and I
Tickling.
think it's a good topic of conversation. Like how the statement of Adams being an upgrade over Mike Williams.
Yeah.
Do we really feel that, because
Yeah.
we've been talking about it as
He
far
is.
as like Mike Williams working with Justin Herbert, getting the familiarity with him and everything like that. Is Davante
Yeah.
Adams really that big? Is he that big of an upgrade, I should say?
Yeah. Yeah. He's
Is
the
he?
best receiver
Okay.
in the league, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you have two of the top. If you have Keenan Allen and Davante Adams, you have two of the top 5 receivers in all of the
How do you
NFL.
cover those two? Like, how do you do that?
Well, you can't, but our roster does not need that. Like,
Right.
we had a top 10 offense already. And I think even if you lose Mike and Palmer, who was perfect on contested catches last year,
100%.
even
I
if you
saw that.
slot him,
I saw that.
if you slot him as a wide receiver too, you draft a little shifty guy, and second round. I know a lot of mocks right now have Chris Olave from Ohio State, who's a San Diego kid potentially coming to us, which he's kind of like a Keenan Allen, a great route runner, get open underneath. And then you have Palmer to be able to go get that deep ball here and there. I don't know. I think that's a good enough to be a really good offense. If you put Davante Adams, you have a Madden offense where you just
Yeah.
throw the ball every single play and doesn't matter,
And then it
you
doesn't
go-
matter. It doesn't matter how many times the opposing team scores because you're going to put up 50 every game.
You could splash the pot, put all the chips in on, we're just going to score 50 a game. Hopefully we can hold them to 48. That could be the strategy. I don't see that being a Coach Staley philosophy. And we know that our GM does not go all in on big. I mean, except for last year, we made Corey Lindsey the number 1 paid center in the league. But outside of that, we don't do these kinds of signings.
Right.
This is like the opposite. This is like the last thing I would think that Telesco would do, because, you know,
but
discount
he's a ninja.
Tommy. He is a ninja.
As soon as
he
you
might
don't
go
think he's going to do it, he
you never know.
Throws that ninja star right in your neck.
Sure.
Right in the jugular and just bleeding everywhere.
I mean, I wonder how much of an influence that like the ownership might have. If Dean Spanos is like, look, I don't care how many coupons you've saved up there, Tommy boy. I need you to go get
time to cash
this
in.
wide receiver. We got to fricking win a Super Bowl here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think given the amount of cap space that the Chargers have, it's certainly possible get. I think it's all going to be contingent on what happens with Rodgers, because Rodgers is talking about possibly either playing with a different team. I know Davante likes playing with Rodgers, so if Rodgers stays in Green Bay, I think it's a good chance Davante stays there.
Yeah.
There's a lot that needs to happen.
If he hits free agency,
exactly.
Maybe, but it's so funny when they post this stuff like sources. Who's your source? Is it the UPS guy that delivered a package? Like, what's the source?
Davante Adams? Is it Davante's agent
chat?
who's trying? Yeah, Davante's agent trying to stir up more money for him.
Sure,
don't show my face.
You never know.
Show my face. I'm a source.
Yeah, I'm a source.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think there's a good chance. I wouldn't say more than 50% though. I would say
I would
go
say
10 to 7.
10 to 20. 7 to 10.
10 to 7%.
No. We'll see what happens. There's a lot that still needs to go on, but yeah, it's that part of the year, folks, where we are just grasping at straws of whatever news possibility might happen.
The problem, he might not want to come because he's going to want to be number 17, and that shit's going to get retired real soon.
Yeah, that won't happen.
You're not going to get to wear number 17.
No, it's a weird wide receiver number, anyways.
Yeah, don't like it.
Now that he can be single digit, maybe he had like a single digit number that he really liked, and he had to be 17 in the NFL.
Yeah, maybe there was a college number that means more to him. All right. Well, this also came out, and I wouldn't necessarily say that this was news, but it was.
Oh, you bet your bottom dollar it was.
Apparently, our own Justin Herbert hit himself a hole-in-one on hole 16. And Keenan Allen was there to witness
golf
it.
Clap.
Called him
golf
a legend. Yeah, golf clap. Got to give him the golf clap. Absolutely. Keenan Allen, Jay Herbo just hit a hole-in-one. And what did he say when he pulled the ball out? He's like, "Oh, this one's
that's
mine.
mine.
Oh, that looks like mine." Yeah,
dude, that is going to be like a GIF or some kind of. That's going to be.
It'll be a meme
all over the place.
Oh, our social media team is going to run with it for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
It's like when he's pulling. It's like whoever gets drafted first. If it's like a wide receiver, it's gonna be their head. He pulls that. Oh, this one's mine.
This one's mine.
That appears.
And if they don't do that, we're
definitely
definitely doing that.
Yeah, this one appears to be mine.
Yeah.
I think it's just cool that Keenan Allen, like, they're still playing golf together in the off season.
Sure,
you know, like they're just buddies. They just go out and play golf together and living in LA. And he's like, "Dang, that's crazy. My quarterback's." Let's get Patrick Mahomes. Oh, yeah. Patrick Mahomes did play golf. That's when he had his famous quote.
Oh, yes.
I'll see it when I believe it.
When I see it. Yeah.
I'll see it when I believe it.
Yeah.
That's where it fell apart for him.
That was it.
Yeah.
So
our quarterback hits hole-in-ones. Theirs loses brain function.
I think that's what needs to happen. I think there needs to be a head-to-head golf championship.
The match. So they've been doing these matches where they pair up like a PGA legend with like a celebrity, and they like Steph Curry played with like Phil Mickelson, and Barkley played with somebody or something like that. They should do Mahomes with like Tiger and who would Justin be paired up with? I don't even know, like
Adam
Rory McIlroy or something. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Somebody short, so it would be like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that'd be sweet.
Show the offset. So. So congrats, Herbo, on hitting yourself a hole-in-one. That's
it's a big
no easy
accomplishment.
feat.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Just break more records.
We're all proud of you here at the Charger Chat. All right. Well, that's pretty much all the news here, folks. So if you feel like it, go on over to chargerchat.com and check out some of the sweet stuff we've got over there. We've got some great shirts and hoodies and stickers, and we've got a member section where you can chat it up with other Charger Chatteteers and even ask questions in Ask Boltfam, which we'll have later this episode. But now, folks, it is time to go on to the next segment. It is Bolt Insight, and it may or may not be another Charger player.
Former Charger player.
Rhymes
Let's go.
with
Alumni.
Chris Hairston.
Alum.
As soon as that clock starts, your ass is mine.
When I met Justin Herbert, man, that dude is big as hell.
The goal is to just keep it rolling.
Come in hype because we have a lot of things to be excited about.
All right, guys, we are back with another Bolt Insight, and we are super pumped to have former Charger offensive lineman Chris Hairston. What is going on, Chris?
Hey, how you doing, man? Nothing much. Just maintaining and chilling.
Awesome, man. Well, we're so pumped to meet you and so excited to have former players on the show. It's like our favorite thing. So want to kick it off. First thing for you, being an offensive lineman, you don't get the praise and the glory, if you will, of other position groups, and it's more the other way where people more want to point out what you did wrong as opposed to praising what you did right. So, with all that being said, what was it about playing football and playing offensive lineman that really, got you excited?
I mean, mostly pushing people around is kind of the fun part. You know what I mean? And if you don't really take a joy in that, offensive line can get kind of boring. It can get kind of tedious. It can get a little isolating because, just like you said, you kind of really hyper-focused in on when you give up that sack, have a false start. But outside of that, it's pretty quiet. But I mean, it's pretty fun pushing people around,
I love it. Yeah, I played. I nowhere near your level. I played offensive line in high school, and all I remember is just the footwork drills. We just drilled it so much. It's just like, oh my god, when is this going to be over?
Definitely, man. It's like a little dance you got to learn, and the whole time you play offensive line, it's like the same thing we do at practice. Those drills last forever.
Yeah, for sure. I still am doing them in my sleep, and it's been 20 years. So we know back in 2017 you had to step away from the Chargers. How are you doing? How's your health? How's everything going?
Well, everything's been really good. Things got better. I had to find the help I needed for all that. I had a blood clot to my lungs reoccurring. Happened twice, so it was kind of like you get the first time it happened, it was like, I don't know if we'll let you back, and then the second time it happened, it was more so, you're done. Go ahead and chalk it up. But I enjoyed my time. I learned a lot. I grew, and I'm kind of thankful for it. Blessed the way it worked out was for me, and just kind of my story.
No, for sure, man. And it was, it was exciting to watch you play. And it was kind of interesting because you got to be a San Diego Charger and a Los Angeles Charger. Yeah. You got a little bit of both worlds. And I saw a post a while back where you kind of thanked everybody for the time in San Diego. So what was it like for you? Because from fans' perspective, it's kind of different because I don't live in San Diego anymore. My family does. So it doesn't hurt as much. What did you kind of see as a player, with the community and everything going from San Diego to Los Angeles?
I mean, it sucked as a player, definitely, but it was kind of the job I have to do. And once boss man says we packing up, moving out, you kind of get with the program pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I did a lot of stuff in the community. I was able to talk to a lot of people and reach out during that kind of period of, moving from San Diego to LA. And I was able to make a lot of good connections. I was able to, talk to a lot of the kids that grew up, San Diego, a lot of the adults that grew up with Chargers as their team. And it was a special moment for me. I was able to, kind of see the blessings in it, even though it was a tough time, even though it kind of sucks. It still does in my mind. I kind of, when I was introduced into the Chargers organization, and we was in San Diego, and that kind of that moment, that time will always be a special moment in time for me. So, I still look back on it as a positive part of my life, but at the same time, it did suck during it.
It was tough. It was definitely harder for some fans than others, and there's a whole bunch of new fans that are coming to the table now, being in LA. So it's kind of an interesting time to be a Charger fan. It's cool to see like the young kids coming up that are like, oh, awesome, Justin Herbert, Chargers, let's go.
Yeah.
So I want, and just to go off on that, talk about some of our newer players. You know, you played almost every position on the line. So you're very qualified to talk on this. Like, what are your thoughts on our new left tackle, Rashawn Slater, stepping in and like right away performing the way he did? What are your thoughts on him?
Man, I mean, he's phenomenal. I mean, you see it game in, game out. He comes out with a consistent game, locking up some of the best rushers in the game. And I mean, he's going to be a dominant lineman for a long time. They may as well re-sign him now. As soon as he got drafted, I kind of knew what it was because I saw his film. His film from college is ridiculous. It's next level stuff. He's doing techniques. He's trying different things at tackle and pass rushing and pass pro that you don't see a lot of guys at that age even attempt to do. And he was able to do it with a smooth, athletic kind of ability that made it look easy. Being able to translate that directly into the game as soon as you get there. But I think it was like the first 2 or 3 weeks. I can't remember what the first game I got to see because I missed a couple of the early games in the year. I got to watch like a full drive of him, and I was like, oh, yeah, he's going to be here for at least the next 15, 20 years. I mean, as long as his body holds up, as long as, the game looks slow for him. So it's fun to watch. It's impressive.
It's exciting, yeah, and he protects Justin Herbert, and you protected one of the Charger favorites, Phillip Rivers. So, what was it like for you playing with Phil? And do you have any cool like memories of playing with Phil Rivers?
My favorite memory just playing with Phil is just kind of seeing how much he appreciated the game. I know it sounds kind of, how do I say it? It sounds kind of corny to say that. But like, if you knew Phil, if you've watched Phil, if you're a big fan, you know what I mean when I say that, because he takes it to another level. The level of commitment is inspiring. He cares, and caring for me means a whole lot. So like, anytime he was able to like show his appreciation for the guys around him, he was never slow to do that. Anytime, you had a hard drive coming up, you can see it in his eyes, see the fire in him. That matters. That makes a difference. And it's not even the behavioral aspect of like how he carried himself. It was more so the time he put in, the way we went through film, the care you take for, just the daily tasks. They turn into something that matter later on down the line. That little bit of something kind of connects you forever.
Yeah, Phil's the man. And I got to ask, did you get a chance to go inside that specialty limo van setup he had that he was driving San Diego to LA all the time?
Nah, I never got to go in, but I definitely would check it out if he was getting in the car and I was going out to the parking lot at the same time.
It was like
I walk by and just kind of, Yes, it was cool, man. He had a full out deal in there, man. He had it going. And like to even commit, all those resources and to making sure you can get that extra hour of film in every morning compounding that on top of each other. Yeah. I mean, that's a week's worth of game planning that, a lot of guys lose, or a lot of guys wouldn't even think to, take advantage of. It mattered to them that much. The story is what it is, man. That limo, man, will live on forever in history.
I know, right? Well, and it's exciting to be a Charger fan because we went from Phillip Rivers to Justin Herbert, and the guy is just out of his mind. What are your thoughts on seeing Justin Herbert and his kind of play for the Chargers these last couple of years?
The dude is amazing. You saw in his college film that he had he made a lot of the throws that took a little bit of nuggets to make. You know what I mean? And, bringing that right to the league and not being afraid to make those same attempts. My wife was leaving out. I had to wait.
Oh, you good?
But seeing him come into the league and be able to make those same attempts with limited practice, limited kind of as much as you are able to get with the wideouts and create that chemistry. As a rookie, you really don't have the kind of time it really that takes to create that chemistry. And he was still able to, attempt it. Like he didn't have anything holding him back mentally, which is huge at quarterback, being able to just let it rip. He has all of that in him. And, that can take you as far as you let it.
Yeah, it's exciting. He hasn't had the same offensive coordinator in like his whole college or NFL career. So him doing the next year in this new system, doing even better, it's promising. It's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that transition, picking him up right after Phil, that was probably the smoothest, generational quarterback to generational quarterback transition I think the NFL has seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. It's exciting as us fans because like I still got my Phil jersey on the wall. I'm not like it's so fresh, it's so new, and we got it Justin now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and I wanted to pick your brain because you were on the team at a kind of a unique time at the end of the McCoy kind of coaching staff, and it's been interesting because there's been a few players that have come out of that regime, like in 2016, 2017, like Weddle and Slauson, that didn't really have the best things to say about the organization, when they left. And there even more drama came up recently with Weddle, and he had some things to say at the Super Bowl. So like, what was your experience like as a Charger, and like, where do you think some of that might have come from?
With any organization that's competing at a level like that, whether it be sports organization, tech or finance, whatever, you're gonna have some of those sentiments come up because that's just the nature of the beast. And also, they were probably more prominent players than I myself was. So the obscurity of being a backup offensive lineman kind of protected me from a lot of the things that created those sentiments with those guys. And, I can't say that those things aren't true. I can't say I wouldn't back them up on those things, but me personally, I didn't have that kind of relationship or experience with the word.
Yeah, so it was interesting time, and not everyone's going to be happy. Not all the fans are happy. We moved to San Diego. It's just not everyone's going to be happy all the time. So I want to get you out of here on this. Whenever we have a player on, we like to ask them. Fandom can be crazy. It can be all over the place. Whether in college at Clemson or as a Charger or a Bill. What is one of the craziest fan experiences you've had? Somebody saying something to you or something crazy that's happened?
It's probably Buffalo. That fandom. I mean, they do it, 100% all year round. But Bills Mafia really represents for the team. And I was back. I think it was in 2011 or 12. I got hurt, and I decided, man, I'm gonna go to one of these tailgates because you hear all about it. And I'm a backup lineman. Like that's something I kind of take a lot of pride in, and that also gives me a bit of anonymity as I kind of move around. Even though I'm a real big black guy in Buffalo on Sunday, it's like, oh, he might be able to play.
Yeah,
some decent shape back then. It was like, oh, he might be able to play, and I still was able to kind of navigate without having to deal with that. And I was able to see like people squirt ketchup and mustard on each other. We had people jumping through the tables. There's a dude jumped off of a house onto like a table. So I got being able to like be in there and see it firsthand. That was the craziest fan experience I had, and then, man, Clemson is bar none. Those fans are wild. And then in San Diego, the fans in San Diego are really personal. They're not afraid to come up and talk to you. They're not afraid, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
I was able to meet some fans, and I would always see them, getting autographs at camp. It'd be like the same kind of group of people, and then you kind of build a relationship with those guys. Whether however shallow that relationship gets to be in the 5 to 10 minutes you may see them in that time, it kind of matters. And making those connections was always fun. That was probably like seeing the personal nature of how a lot of San Diego fans, really took the game and really took fandom. That was crazy also. Like, it was really eye-opening. I really appreciate that time.
I love it, man. And we really appreciate your time, Chris. It was so great meeting you. And yeah, hopefully we can get you back on at some point in the future and, maybe during the season and see what your thoughts are on the Bolts as they go into next season.
Definitely.
All right, man. We appreciate your time. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
All right. Well, good to know we've got a quarterback that's got some nuggets, huh, guys?
Yeah.
So good.
That's awesome. Chris, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us. It blows my hair back that we're getting these Charger players to come on and chat with us. That is so cool.
And I love talking with former players too, because it's just a different insight, different. They're not in the crazy whirlwind that is our team right now. They have some perspective on the outside looking back in. So
right.
And they don't have to hold punches. They don't have to hold back punches. It's not as if it's their current employer and there's anything really like that unless they're trying to go pursue commentating or being an analyst or anything like that. But it's just great to hear those stories. And I love the idea, he kind of hit it right on the head. The idea of the Charger fan base versus the Bills and Clemson. Mm-hmm. I would agree from the outside looking in, we don't have the rowdiest fans in the world. No. But I do think we have a very personal, like you come to a Charger game as an opposing fan, you're not going to get screamed at and ran out of the stadium, like
unless you're a Raider fan.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't.
Well, we beat them by like 40 at home, so I didn't really have much. I didn't really have to do anything.
Save your spit.
Yeah, but I think that's a great point. Like, I do think that like the way that we interact with our players and talk about them, hopefully, is a lot different than a lot of you remember the Chiefs fan base. They had a rough start to the season. They were calling for people's heads.
Oh yeah.
Instantly.
And
then they turned it around and ended up deep into the playoffs, winning the AFC West.
Right.
So it's like, I appreciate that. I think he gave credit to the San Diego fan base or the Charger fan base for what we are, like what makes us unique.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm really glad that he's, his health concerns, because he was lined up to start and be an important piece for us that year, the 2017 year, our first year as the LA Chargers, and him having to step away. That's just, I'm glad his health is good and he's doing well. So
absolutely.
I was just an absolute pleasure meeting him, and
that's awesome.
I hope to do more, and we'll bring him back on again if he has time.
Absolutely, Chris. Thank you so much again for coming on. All right. Well, now it's time to go on to Fan Focus. And we've talked about this person before, and apparently we've been mispronouncing her name. What is the right pronunciation there, Kev?
Kea, not Kia.
Not Kia. Kea.
Which makes sense because it's not spelt like the French.
Well, where were you when we started saying it, Kyle? Where were you?
I just let you do your whole thing with your new Bolt fam question stuff. You just got to go ahead and say your stuff, and I sit back and listen.
There you go. All right. Well, let's turn it over to Kea.
Certified Kea.
Certified Kea.
Not certified fresh.
Stay in your lane.
All right. Sorry.
All right, guys. We're back with another Fan Focus, and we have Kea today. What is going on?
Hello.
And I apologize. I've been saying your name wrong the entire time. My apologies, Kea. It is a pleasure to meet a fellow Rancho Bernardo Bronco.
It's a pleasure to be on here.
We love interacting with you. You do some awesome stuff. Look, there's a lot of stuff I want to get to. We got to talk about the promposal, all that stuff. But let's kick it off first thing first, how we always do it. How did you become a Charger fan?
So I inherited my love for the Chargers from my dad. He is a huge Junior Seau fan because we're Pacific Islanders. And he actually started teaching me football when I was like 7 years old. He made me memorize all the quarterbacks' names. We'd watch games every Sunday. Like every Sunday we'd stay home and just watch Chargers football. That's all we did.
That's awesome. So yeah, it's a family thing. Same thing with us. Our dad is hardcore. So that's awesome. And Seau was such an important part of that culture, and just a Charger. Like that's amazing. So, so tell us a little bit about first thing, like what has been your biggest Charger moment, your best Charger memory so far?
Okay. So for my 13th birthday, my parents took me to a Chargers game. Like they literally took me out of school. I was in 7th grade.
Nice.
Yeah. So they were like, "Oh, it's a dentist appointment."
I love it.
Yeah, and then it was the Chargers Broncos game, and it was the first time they wore their color rush uniforms. So that was really cool. I'm never gonna forget that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, cool. We got to talk about the promposal. So I admire you because you reached out to Justin Herbert on Twitter and asked him to go to prom. What, like you are, I can't believe I'm in your presence right now. Like the fact you did that is amazing. What was your thought process going into asking Justin to go to prom?
Well, it was my mom's idea. She just like casually suggested it. And I'm like, hey, I think I might do that. And this was in like January. So I was like, okay, I'll think about it. And then by the time February came, I was like, okay, football's kind of died down, now the Super Bowl's over, stuff like that. And I went through a lot to get to this. Like I made a spreadsheet. I'm not even kidding. Of like all the players, all their Instagram handles. So I was like, okay, I got to individually message all of them. And I tried to be like, as cute as possible, like, oh, Mom, please, I just want to go with Herbert, stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then what else did I do? I made that graphic saying, oh, Justin Herbert, my senior year would be complete if you went to prom with me. Yeah, I made that and I shared that on Twitter, and then I posted it on my stories every single day, and I tagged everyone, like all the players. I tagged Megan. I even tagged his mom, like his brothers. I was like, wow,
you were determined.
Yeah. Even like Good Morning Football, like all the sports analysts, and just anyone I could think of that might, I don't know, do something about it.
That's awesome. Yeah. When he's not going to take you to prom, but the Chargers did reach out to you. So what happened with that?
Oh my gosh, it's funny. I was in the library when I checked my messages, so obviously I had to be quiet, and I'm like freaking out. I opened it, and they were like, "Oh, can we have your address? Justin wants to send you something." And I was like,
I love it.
The first thing I did was call my mom while I'm in the library, and I'm like borderline screaming. There's people at tables next to me just staring at me like, what is her problem? Yeah, and I was like, amazing. The Chargers just messaged me.
That's crazy. So what did you get? What did they send you?
Okay, well, here's the helmet.
Oh my God.
Let me show you the signature. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am jealous. I want to get one of those so bad.
I know. And they wrote me a note.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I hope it
goes well with your prom dress.
So you have to get us a picture of you wearing that with your prom dress on. We have to see.
I will.
We got to see that.
Yeah, I will.
That's amazing. Well, hey, honestly, shooting your shot, you went for it, and you got a signed Justin Herbert helmet. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
It's
completely surreal. I can't believe it's right here.
That's gnarly. So, all right. So while we're on RB, I'm an alumni from Rancho Bernardo. What do you think of the news of our new football coach, Mr. Weddle, being the head coach of the Broncos? What do you think of that?
I don't know how I feel about that, because it's like, okay, that's pretty cool. A professional football player is the head coach of the team now. But at the same time, like with his history, I'm just kind of like, I don't know how I feel about it. He had the audacity to just talk about like Tom Telesco and all that stuff, and I was like, "Oh, come on!" But we made you.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. And it'll be interesting too, because I think they'll have a better football team. The Broncos will be better. The Rancho Bernardo Broncos, not the Denver Broncos. Don't get it twisted. People always ask me that, like, "You're a Bronco?" I'm like, technically yes, but I'm not a Denver Bronco, so don't get mad.
Yeah. That was me when I was in 8th grade. I went to Bernardo Heights, the middle school literally across the street from RB. And my dad was like, "Oh, you're going to be a Bronco like the Denver Broncos." And I'm like, please stop.
Yeah, you're embarrassing me in front of my friends, Dad. Stop it. Well, awesome. Well, let's get you out of here on this. Like, what are you most looking forward to? We got, some fun things coming up. What are you most looking forward to next season? And, what do you want to do? Are you going to go to some games? Like, what are your plans?
Hopefully I can go to some games. It's just hard because I'm here in San Diego and they're all the way up in LA, that. But I definitely feel like a Super Bowl is in our future, our near future. I don't know. I just feel it because it's like every year the Chargers motto is, there's always next year. But like now it has a whole new meaning to it because now we have Herbert and our roster's just absolutely stacked. So yeah. I just wanted to share in one of your episodes. You were talking about fantasy football and you drafted Sam Darnold. I did the same thing that exact week.
Blew it.
So okay.
We blew it together, Kea. We blew it together.
Went a little worse though because I also took the Panthers defense.
Yeah,
that was. I couldn't drop them off my team fast enough. I was like, just get off my team.
And honestly, I love it that you also play fantasy and you're a diehard Charger fan. Like, we need more young fans like you to keep this trajectory of Charger fandom rolling. So we appreciate everything you're doing, Kea, and everything on Twitter. We love interacting with you. So keep those shopping carts going into the where they need to go. Keep everything coming.
Yeah, every time we go to the store, I'm like, "Oh, are we getting a cart? I'm returning it. Make sure you film it, okay?"
Make sure. I need the clip. Yeah. So. All right, Kea. Well, it was so awesome having you. It was a pleasure meeting you, and definitely let's do it again in the future. And let's go Chargers.
It's so nice to meet you too. Kea, love you. Bye.
Kea, love you. Bye.
Man, what a story, Kea. That is so awesome.
She's the best.
Kea, while we were listening to that, you wouldn't believe it, but Kevin was inspired and he's going to tweet the Chargers to see if Justin will go to prom with him.
Yeah. And I'm okay with just the helmet, so we'll see how it goes.
I wonder how many people, because they want the helmet, are just going to start inviting him to their prom.
So
they're going to have to hire someone full-time to send out helmets.
You got to prom with me.
Kea, you've paved the way now for...
Open the floodgates of
middle-aged men.
Middle-aged men. Charger helmets.
Oh man!
Well, but I want to see that picture of you in your prom dress with the helmet on. More than
can't wait.
Oh, so cool!
I can't wait.
Powder blue dress.
Oh, let's go.
God,
powder blue dress for sure.
Powder blue dress with yellow accents. Come on, Kea. You could rock it.
Come on, Kea.
Get those shoes with red 10 on the bottom. Let's go.
Yeah.
You can just see you walk away with 10s. Let's go.
All right. Well, have a good prom, Kea. I hope it's magical and everything you want it to be.
And whoever your date is, I'm sorry because you were second choice.
You're second banana, my friend.
Backup plan.
Yeah, your backup plan.
Yes. Thank you for coming on and chatting with my man Kev.
Yeah, thanks, Kev.
Like Kev said, we love interacting with you on Twitter and seeing all of your tweets. All right, gang. Well, now it's time to go on to the next segment. Ask Boltfam.
Time to put your money where your mouth is.
Hi, guys.
Don't jam a thumb up his butthole. That's what you do.
I wet myself in excitement.
Oh, so hungry.
Your thoughts are like totally appreciated.
Catch you later, dude.
Okay, love you, boy.
All right. It is Ask Boltfam, and we start this one off with El Guapo, who asked the question. For Ask Boltfam, what offense are you guys taking? All players in their prime. Option number 1, Rivers, Eckler, Keenan, and Joyner. Option number 2, Herbert, Sproles, Mike Will, and Gates. Option number 3, Fouts, LT, Allworth, and Winslow.
The Fouts
are good.
Allworth, Winslow with LT. That's
but we don't know
crazy.
Here's the problem, though. We don't even know Herbert Prime yet. He's still in the beginning of his career.
Baby prime.
What if him in his prime is just
Well, he's already beaten Charger records. Whatever records Fouts or Rivers had, he's already beat them.
It is a different NFL than when those guys played in it as well.
That's true.
Yeah, like they could get, like quarterbacks could get murdered, and so could wide receivers who might want to.
Did you see the Freezer Bowl?
That's true.
Quarterbacks were just losing their heads left and right.
Quarterbacks' heads are falling off.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well,
That's
answer the question. What are you thinking?
I think I would go with
LT.
option 2. I'd go Herbert, Sproles, Mike Will, and Gates. Because I also think Mike Will is like just now entering his prime. I think his next 2 years are going to be when he's best.
Yeah, that's hard though.
He's Hall of Famer, best tight end of all time.
And
I'm
Sproles guessing these are all in their prime, right? These are
all players in their prime.
Yeah.
Yeah, no injuries.
That's kind of hard. Herbert loves his tight ends, and him having Gates
in his prime.
Yeah, in his prime,
right?
With
and
Darren Sproles,
check down out of the backfield,
right?
And Mike Will,
that's little lightning bug.
That's hard. I'm gonna go.
Is it hard, Kev?
That's hard.
Good question. You hurt
How
my
hard?
brain. I don't know if I can go number one. It's tossed up between 2 and 3.
Wait. Last week we had a pee in a Raider's mouth or wipe your butt with Raider jerseys, and we answered it in a heartbeat. This one we're like, God, I don't know.
We need 5 minutes to really.
This is actual football stuff you're asking. I don't know.
Shit. Let's go Herbert, Sproles, Will, Gates. I think that
I'm gonna go with number 2 as well. I love
it's the Gates factor.
And I just think that Herbert's gonna end up being the best quarterback out of the 3. I really do.
Right. I mean, Herbert
not yet. He hasn't done it yet.
Not yet. He hasn't done it yet, unless you count the records he's already broken. But I think the mobility of Herbert adds a definite wrinkle, especially comparatively to Rivers. I don't know how mobile Fouts was in his heyday, but I can't imagine it was very.
His beard
much.
game was strong, though.
His beard game was strong. I'm anxious. I hope that there is a season that we get bearded Herbert, because just imagine.
I'd imagine it's just a little stash, just a baby
Remember when
stash.
we had visor Rivers? I want a visor Herbert.
Ooh, nice.
Really bad.
That would be scary.
Yeah. Just 6'6" monster with a visor on.
Dark visor.
Yes.
All right. Well, there you go, El Guapo. I think we are unanimously picking option number 2, Herbert, Sproles, Mike Will, and Gates. So there you go. Thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Physical Chemical 909.
Certified fresh.
Who asked the question?
Definitely. Welcome.
Why did we fire Marty Schottenheimer after we went 14-2?
Good question. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that.
We didn't do nothing. That was
AJ
not our
Smith.
decision.
AJ Smith has a little wee wee and got his feelings hurt.
Yeah,
and wanted more control. That's what happened. AJ Smith really screwed us over.
Yeah,
dude.
That was great. I think it had something to do with he just wanted more control, I believe, and AJ Smith didn't want to give it up. He wanted to hire some people. They believe he wanted to bring his son on at some point. That was one of the narratives. He just wanted to have more control, and he kind of stood his ground. And AJ Smith was like, "I don't think so." And then
I'm gonna go talk to my boss. You stupid
Dad.
I suck.
Dean,
can you help me? Dino
this guy's
Bino.
being mean. Yeah, fire him. Sucks.
Sucks.
Can't even win in the playoffs.
Problem, Dean.
14-2. Those are just numbers.
Yeah. Don't come at me with numbers, Dean.
Don't come at me with facts. Fire his ass.
Yeah, those are numbers.
Yeah, it is baffling to look back on Physical Chemical.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall during that conversation.
I'd
love to hear what
Marty
went down.
Schottenheimer.
Yeah.
After he goes 14-2.
Yeah, I mean, and he was a pretty beloved coach to throw on top of everything
players
else.
and everybody.
LT says he was like a dad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, record aside, seemed like an amazing guy, and so to fire him after that record is just baffling.
And you remember the story of Hannick, where like Hannick was like getting ready. He was just over it, and he like showed up with his wife and took him to dinner. Like that's who Marty was. So
exactly. Yeah,
still confused by that.
We're all still confused by it. Physical Chemical 909, but thank you for asking the question and welcome.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you. Welcome.
Let's move it on now to House of Hain, who asked the question. I'll say, what is your favorite game in Charger history? I was at the game. LT broke the record. I say, the Raiders. Can't love you. Bye. All right. Well, favorite game in Charger history,
and kind of a brag there, House of Hain. You were there at that game.
Little flex at the end.
Slight flex on us, bro.
Yeah.
But a hell of a game to be at. I mean, if you're gonna flex a game, that is the game to flex.
In the spirit of that, the Freezer Bowl was a tough one, but it was my favorite I've ever been to.
Wait, you've never been? You went back to Freezer Bowl?
Come along on this ride. I'm taking,
trying.
Kyle. Join me on the journey.
I was looking for a wink or something like.
Yeah. Epic in Miami.
Not my final answer. Welcome.
All right.
We've answered this before. Why don't we try to guess each other's? I know
Have
Adams.
we? Oh.
Yeah. Adams was the Cleveland game this year. You talked about it. I don't know.
Well, it's
what
just favorite
episode
game
it
in
was,
Charger history, not necessarily like favorite game you attended.
Oh,
Or
attended.
something.
Oh, attended.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So just in general, what's your favorite
Getting hung
game
up
in
on
Charger
that.
history? I mean, I would probably still say the Cleveland game just because it was a wild game.
Yeah. I remember a couple. I don't remember what season it was, but we beat the Bengals in the playoffs, in the first round of the playoffs. And Kevin he was there. You were there week 17, and then you had to go on some trip for work. But then you flew back. You like went away to like North Dakota or something for 5 days, and then flew back to San Diego
just to watch it with you,
to watch the game. And we went to like a little barbecue spot and watched the game. And it was me, Kevin, and my dad pretty much watching it, and we saw him beat the Bengals in the playoffs. And it was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like it.
All right. There's so many during my, like, it's hard because I've already said the other one, so I'll pull another one. Nothing specific. It was just it's hard because it was just when you're a kid and you go to a game with your dad, and it's just like, I just remember seeing Sal on the field.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing Carney. I remember seeing, those guys playing. And I remember eating those amazing garlic fries at the stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Like whenever I would eat those garlic fries, that was like one of my favorite games. Somebody brought that up on Twitter, and it reminded me.
Oh, yeah. The garlic fries at Qualcomm were no joke.
They were the best.
You could smell them throughout the whole stadium.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of recent games are my favorite, but there's something about that game where Rivers played. We didn't win, but Rivers played without an ACL. Like, that's pretty magical.
Sure, yeah,
that's a magical
wild
right
game.
there. That's like man stuff right there.
And when he threw for like 500 yards against the Packers at one time,
that was sweet. When we beat the Packers at home at that little stub,
we lost to the Packers, and he threw for 500 at Lambeau.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know if it was 400 and something, but he threw for a ridiculous amount of yards, and he still lost. It was like a womp womp type of performance, but it was still cool.
Still a wild game, to say the least. So, all right, well, there you go. House of Hain, we threw a few out at you. Appreciate you asking the question. Let's move it on now to Terrell Cooper, who asked the question.
I got a question for Boltfam. It goes like this. This might be the hardest question for you to ever have. No one said life was easy. My question is, would you accept the Chargers back if it meant trading Justin Herbert to the Broncos? Don't hate me. Can't love you. Bye. Stewie.
That was a really good Stewie.
No,
that's a solid
terrible.
Stewie. No, what are you talking about? That was good. I liked it.
Brian.
That was good.
Brian.
Okay. Well, I hate this question.
Yeah, so it's saying that if would we take the Chargers back in San Diego, but we don't get Justin Herbert.
Right. And not even we don't get him. He goes to the freaking Broncos.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. Like I'm over the move from San Diego.
I've come to terms. I wouldn't even trade Tillery in this sscenario. I'm fine with them being the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm okay. Our stadium's gone. Qualcomm's gone. It's all gone.
Differently.
What about Trey
differently.
Pipkins? Would you trade Trey Pipkins to the Broncos?
No, he's developing well.
Okay.
I'm happy to be a Los Angeles Charger.
I love it.
I would trade any player on our roster to get them back in San Diego.
Even Justin Herbert. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
It's different for us, Willie. We haven't lived in San Diego in a long time.
I just find that interesting because I mean,
I have my stupid Padres hat on, who suck all the time, anyways, and I still love them. So I would rather have a shitty Charger team in San Diego than a good one in LA.
Interesting.
But here we are, and I'm still a fan.
Right. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Hey, I don't.
Hey, to each his own.
Exactly. Different strokes for different folks. Terrell Cooper, thank you for asking the polarizing question. Let's move it on now to Z the King One, who asked the question.
Yahoo! What is the first thing you guys want to see happen this week for us? Yahoo!
All right. Well, anything, like some bit of news would be awesome. Like whether it's
what happens this week.
I'm
this
seeing
when the tampering starts?
Well, I'm seeing people getting extended. Are you seeing these contracts that are kind of happening?
I've seen a couple. Yeah, there's been a couple players that have gotten extensions, or at least I don't know that they can sign it until free agency starts per se, but
there's
at least
an
they're
agreement
coming out
in
with
place.
the deals. Yeah, agreements are happening. within house, like not from other teams or anything like that.
Yeah, you can't talk to anybody else.
Right. Like Carolina kept their tight end, I think, as one of the players.
And they signed him. They want to pay him a pretty good amount of money for his quality, which means all the other tight ends are going to make a lot more money than they were probably planning on. So
that's very possible.
Gesicki just went up, but I would say if this is just the case and we can come to an agreement with Derwin James this week, that'd be sweet. Lock him up. That'd be mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just, I don't know. It's just, he still has a whole year left on his deal. I don't think that's the pressing issue right now. I think that'll get done, but I don't think that's the needs to get done right now. I don't know. Like the more that free agency goes on, the more I don't know what to do about Mike Williams. Like I want him on the team, but there's so much talk about wide receivers and who we're going to draft and all this stuff that I'm like, I don't really know. Personally, what I want to see is I want them to come out and tell us what they're doing with Mike Williams so I can start to process what our team's going to look like.
It's not going to happen, guy. It's not
Kevin,
going to happen.
It didn't say what realistically didn't want
use
to
the magic
happen.
word.
What I want is in the press conference that they have with Tom Telesco this week,
right?
For them to be like, yeah, we're re-signing Mike Williams or we're moving on.
Right.
And if he does that, it's a smoke bomb because he's a ninja and they won't re-sign him, and that'll be some leverage for something else. Ninja.
All right, I'm done talking.
Didn't see me.
I'm done talking. Calm down. Okay.
Yeah, I think just any bit of news. Like, are we keeping somebody? Because I think it all has to be within house. So I think Mike Williams, Derwin James isn't a pressing issue, but if you want to get him at a lower dollar rate, I think now would be the time as opposed to next season when you could blow it up.
Or even before all these other free agent safeties start signing, and then it just gets more and more expensive as they sign.
Exactly. So yeah, some bit of news would be awesome. I don't think we're necessarily particular on who, but Mike Williams wouldn't be bad. Just tell us what you're going to do with him.
Just give us some info.
Something.
Just blink twice if it's
just let us
be
in.
okay.
Yeah.
3
See
times.
The king won.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to CD, who asked the question. What's a conspiracy theory you believe to be true? And also, what would be a conspiracy you'd like to start?
Good question.
Conspiracy theories.
Fun. I think mine's easy. Mine's JFK. The grassy knoll. That's the conspiracy that I believe to be true.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Too easy. The magic bullet theory doesn't work. I just watched like a 4-hour documentary on this, so it's fresh in my mind. So the magic bullet theory is not possible.
Down and to the left.
Yeah.
Down
and
to the left. I don't know that I necessarily believe any conspiracy theories. I mean, some of them are just too out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like
flat Earth.
Yeah, I can't believe that. No. Well, I don't know. Unless you've got one, Kyle, what would be a conspiracy theory we'd like to start?
I've worked with high school students, and they are convinced that pigeons aren't real.
What?
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. They think that all pigeons, none of them are real. They're all like robotic birds that are being used by the government for intel.
High school kids?
This is what they think. They have shirts that say pigeons aren't real.
What?
Yeah.
And they legit believe it. Wow.
Oh my God. All right. I'm starting a new conspiracy theory. Pigeons are real. Okay.
Whoa.
Calm down. That's crazy. I never heard of that one.
Interesting.
Yeah. Birds aren't real. Maybe it's all birds. It's this inside. I just Googled it. Are pigeons real? The first thing that pops up. No, listen. The first thing that pops up is from the New York Times. And it says birds aren't real. Or are they?
Or are
Inside
they?
a Gen Z conspiracy.
Oh,
wow.
Birds, all birds.
Holy
they don't believe all. I
shit.
don't.
We need to get out of our houses, guys. Go do something.
We've been at
something
home
else.
We're thinking too
long.
much.
Yeah.
We're all stuck up in here. We need to go out there and do stuff.
Play with the birds. Toppins.
Shoot some birds. Shoot a couple birds and you'll realize they're real.
Yeah. They
go down.
Well, it's
hard.
They get hit. It's like briefcase taco.
Briefcase taco.
Matrix glitches and they disappear.
Yeah, exactly. Disappear.
Well, let's start a conspiracy theory. Like, Dean Spanos is just two kids, one standing on top of the other.
Derek Carr is a lady boy. Lady boy. Yeah.
he's really
lady boy.
He really uses Maybelline.
Yeah.
Because he's not born with it. It's Maybelline.
The NFL needs to look into the eyeliner used by Derek Carr because it is enhancing
his
ability to see the field.
Makeup.
Yeah. Performance enhancing makeup.
It's a performance enhancing drug.
There you go. All right. Well, there's a few. There's CD. Apparently birds aren't real. Who even knew? Thank you.
New York Times wrote an article about it.
Thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Senor Snappy, who asked the question.
Crikey, mates! I resurfaced from a deep dive in Rivers Lake just in time to hear about what our quarterback has been up to. Let's pretend that Herbo says, "F you, no more football." What other sports do you think he could conquer? Golf and basketball excluded. Can't love your boy.
Pitcher, baseball.
Baseball.
I was going to say baseball.
He played baseball in high school, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he would. I think if he just did
sports.
that, the strength of his arm, he's throwing a Hondo, 100%.
I think volleyball he could be pretty impressive at.
Ooh, yeah.
With his height,
yeah,
his strong arm.
Yes.
I think he could. The spikes could be pretty real.
Yeah,
off of Jay Herbo.
I think a realistic thing, he could probably take up curling in the offseason. Get ready for the Olympics.
I think you could take up curling in the offseason. Have you seen our national curling team?
Professional broom ball, something like
just
that.
Like us.
There you go.
Yeah. They look just like
it.
us. Yeah.
I could see him on a water polo team too.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert, he's
Yeah.
got that. I mean, especially with that flow. I mean, just imagine coming out of the water.
Yeah.
Like
Comes out of the
shaking
water.
itself aside.
Just takes his cap off.
Shit.
There you go. Yeah, he probably wouldn't even have to swim. He could just walk along the bottom of the pool.
Done.
All right. Well, there you go, Senor Snappy. Thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Kellen Smith, who asked the question. Now, if you were going through some hard times and you had the chance to get together with any Chargers to talk about it, who do you think would be the one that would give you the best advice on how to get through it? And to the Chiefs, I'll be seeing your Mahomes family at my boot camp ranch to hopefully teach them how to act like decent human beings. So, Charger, to get you through the hard times, somebody you could confide in and talk to.
I think I'm going to go with somebody that Kevin actually interviewed recently, and it's Chris Rumpf.
Ooh.
I don't like in hearing Kevin talk to him. He just seemed like a very personable, easy to talk to, someone you'd want to like get real with guy.
It's a good answer. I like that.
Take a page out of that book. I'm gonna go Braden Fajoko. Big family, can most of the time, he can help with he family issues. He has some good.
And if the hard time involves beating someone up,
that's your guy. That's your guy. Yep. That's your guy.
I'll take a page out of that book too, and I'll say
it's a good book. You're welcome.
I'll say
not for long.
I'll say Austin Eckler because I think that guy has faced a lot of adversity, especially just.
Wait, we interviewed Austin Eckler?
We did.
Kevin did.
I'm just kidding. It's still
Kyle
crazy
doesn't listen to the show.
It is wild. Yeah.
I still don't believe it.
It is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It was a dream.
Yeah, I mean, just dealing with people not believing in him. I think he's had to fight his way to get into that position. And I think if anybody's going to he's going to inspire you. He's got if you're following his Twitter, he's got like Motivational Monday where he'll tweet something out about trying to get people motivated. And I think if you're going to confide in anybody to get you through the hard times, I think that's your guy right now.
Also,
3 good answers, guys.
An option. Oh, I didn't interview him, but Kyle did. Chase Daniel. He can kind of walk you through how to deal with being in costumes, how it feels to be hot.
Get you a beer afterwards.
Yeah.
Sounds like you want me to help you through.
I would call Kyle.
I'll throw on my Chase from Paw Patrol, and I'll talk you through anything.
Can I talk
you need,
to
guys.
Chase, please?
Dude, is there any way you can get that head? We need to have it for the. You need to do a segment with that on.
Okay.
Let's
I
do
can't
it.
see out of it, but I'll give it a shot.
You sound so excited to do it. Okay.
I'll do it.
I think PTSD from that head.
All right. Well, there you go. Kellen Smith, thank you for asking the question. Moving on now to Chris M., who asked the question.
A question for the coach. I don't understand why our run defense is so bad. Joseph seems to be pretty stout. What are some things that could be addressed in the offseason to make the run defense better?
Yeah, I think, honestly, go back and listen to our Braden Fajoko interview, when Kevin talked to him. I thought he gave awesome insight into the difference between being a one-gap player and a two-gap player on the defensive line. Because that's what happens when you go from a 4-3 to a 3-4. Defensive linemen are no longer just, hey, I got this A gap, and as long as I sit here, I did my job. Now it's if this lineman does this and he moves there, then I have to be able to get to this gap, or I have to engage, read what's happening, get off the block, and get to this gap. So it's just a lot more intricate. There's more going on. You need to be a little bit more athletic to be able to get off plays. And I don't think Linval Joseph was the issue. I really don't. I thought he did a good job of being a nose tackle. He clogged up the middle, but then running backs were able to cut and move off of what he did, and there was no one else there to pick up the issue. So I don't think nose tackle is the big issue. I think we'll get a new nose tackle because Linval is getting a little older. His contract's going to be pretty expensive if you want to keep him around. Right. So I do think they move on, but I think it's our defensive quote unquote defensive tackle, defensive ends. Because those are the guys that it's just a much different position than what we had in the past. They have to be down inside of those tackles, or head up with a tackle, taking them on and playing multiple gaps. So I don't think Linval Joseph was the issue. I think it's the not the outside backers, but those defensive tackles / defensive ends that we have in the 3-4.
All right.
So I think our whole defense is gonna look different next year.
He really will. Yeah.
That's what even Tom Tusk, who's giving us nothing, has already kind of said. That's where we're gonna put our focus this offseason. So it's gonna get better.
Excellent. All right. Well, there's a little insight for you, Chris. Appreciate you asking the question. Let's move it on now to Daniel Llewellyn, who asked the question.
Okay, bro, chachos. So I'm wondering if Coach wouldn't mind breaking down the differences in nose tackle versus defensive tackle in Staley's eagle, pigeon, falcon, flamingo, ostrich front. Because I'm confused on which position we should prioritize in free agency versus draft and why. Okay, later on, dudes.
All right. Nose tackle versus defensive tackle. What's the diff?
Yeah, so in our defense, both guys are two gap players. Nose tackle lines up over the center. Defensive tackles are usually lined up over the guard / inside shade of the tackle. So it's just a different body type. Nose tackles are bigger, stouter, taking on guard centers, whereas defensive tackles are a little bit more of a pass rush, a little bit more dynamic, a little bit quicker on their feet. Both are two gap players, but I think the D tackle is what we have missed. So I see us going after at least one defensive tackle that we know can play the position, has done it in a 3-4, maybe someone that coach is familiar with. But I also think too, So I just think that familiarity, coaches talked about how look, this is the first time our defense has run any of this, and our players have come out and said took us time to understand what we were doing. We're a win now. I really hope that some of these connections that we make with guys that Coach Staley has coached in the past, we start seeing those guys start to come in. So it's not a start from ground, step one again with some of these guys.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and find out. But good question, Daniel Llewellyn. Thank you for asking it. Let's move it on now to, hey guys, big fan here.
Certified Fresh.
Who asked the question?
Who is your guys' least favorite team outside of the AFC West? For me, it was always the Steelers. But now that Captain Fat is gone, my disdain is shifted towards the Rams.
I wish we could make this the episode title.
Captain Fat. So least favorite team, I'll say
the Patriots have a special place in my heart of hatred.
Yeah,
I really hate the Patriots a lot.
I think it's the Patriots. I don't know. I can't think of any other team that I generally dislike or genuinely dislike.
We don't play them much, but man, the Cowboys are annoying as.
their fans suck, but they suck. Like it's not like I don't hate sucky teams. The Cowboys never do anything. The Patriots are easy to hate because they
You hear that 90s? You hear what he said there?
You hear that?
It's 90s were that was a good 30 years ago, guys.
Yeah. Facts.
Birds were real back then.
The earth was round, birds were real.
It was a good
JFK was really dead.
It was the time to be alive.
We landed on the moon also, for real.
For real. Yeah, I think the Patriots are unanimously the least favorite team of ours. But hey,
I'll get it on that.
Hey guys, big fan here. Thank you for asking the question. Love that name. Let's move on now to Mr. Bill 541, who asked the question. Out of you three, who's the funniest when intoxicated? And you must do an impression that you've never done before. Better yet, how about all three of you do an impression of each other when they're drunk? I don't know.
I don't want to do this. I'm scared. This could get better. This could get me.
Know.
Who's the funniest?
Who's the funniest?
That's a question.
I don't know.
Kevin gets pretty fiery.
Kevin gets pretty angry. Kevin gets a little like, come on, guys.
Confrontational. Is a good word. Yeah. I think confrontational is the right word. It's not angry. It's just like, let's debate this.
Like,
let's talk this out. Yeah.
Yeah. I get
Adam gets pretty jolly. Adam is a pretty jolly drunk guy.
Super jolly. Yeah.
I go with Adam. Because normally Adam sober is very reserved and quiet and like observer. But if he has a couple of drinks, he does get jolly and very funny. So I'm going to go with that.
Some shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's game time, baby.
Yeah. I'm trying to impersonate Coach, like when you're drunk.
I don't know that I've seen Kyle drunk.
Oh, I have.
I'm sure you have. I don't doubt that.
But usually I am too, so I don't remember it that well.
Yeah, I have an ability to really keep my cool, like no matter what, to just lock it up.
Right.
So it doesn't ever get to that point, but I also
it does when you get with me. We get we when you and I are at the same level, it gets kind of fun ish.
You guys get a little physical with each other. You probably like hit each other and smack each other.
Kevin wants to punch me, and he like reverts back to 12-year-old Kevin.
You got to go back to like 4 seasons ago when we did this podcast. We were in Vegas doing one, and I just kept smacking Kyle
just tried to keep eating me up.
Yeah. I'm not an aggressive, mean guy when I'm drunk. I am pretty fun to be around.
You are very fun to be around, but you can't say you're not confrontational. Like you will bring up topics knowing that it's going to be confrontational.
I can remember when we lived together back in I think it was the the Cahuenga house, maybe.
Back when pigeons were real.
Back when pigeons were real.
The house that had the backyard. And I can remember you were like, let's wrestle. And I was like, no, dude, you're going to win. You're like, no, come on. It'll be fun. And I'm like, fine.
It'll be fun for you.
And then like, you just immediately like, boom, you just take me down. And I'm like tapping everything. I'm like, no. I'm done.
I think that was when I just learned I just started jujitsu.
Oh yeah, you did a little jujitsu back in college.
I was like, we're in the backyard.
An arm bar. And I was like, no.
We just played Edward 40 hands. Let's wrestle.
Kevin had his first class in jiu-jitsu. He goes home. He sees Adam. He's like, let's wrestle. I'm ready. Let's wrestle.
And by wrestle, I'm going to try and choke you out.
Oh, God. I love it.
Good times. That was
there you
like
go.
20 years ago, dude.
I know. It was a long time ago, buddy. All right. Mr. Bill, 541. Thank you for asking the question.
Good one.
Let's move on now to Rub Interesting 3465.
Certified. Fresh.
That's the question. There has been a lot of chatter about TT and how he hasn't provided the Chargers with a depth and playoff victories. How influential is the ownership and how we go about free agent spending? It seems we never really go for it in free agency. Is that just TT's way, or do we have a very frugal ownership?
I'd be curious to see when the last time we like were at the cap. Like we spent all the money we had. You know what I mean? I'm curious.
Yeah.
Because it's
Our
easy for
ownership
Yeah.
Our ownership is just very frugal. I mean, it's not only in Tom Telesco's tenure that we don't go after big time free agents. I mean, for as long as I can remember, we never even re-signed our big time free agents. We let LT go to the Jets, for God's sake.
Yeah.
We let Junior Seau go to the Dolphins. We let Rodney Harrison go to the Patriots. These guys went on to win Super Bowls after we let them go. It's not like Tom Telesco is all of a sudden this super frugal guy. I think what he's learned from the Colts is you build your team through the draft, but there's a time and a place to go after it.
Right.
And the Chargers have just never, ever done that.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's specifically to Tom Telesco. I think if the ownership came to Tom Telesco and they said, look, you need to be more aggressive.
Right.
You've
got money, spend it.
Right. He would, but they're not doing that. And that's not his natural tendency and belief. So you have two forces, the ownership and the general manager, both the same philosophy. I don't see a drastic overhaul. The best thing that probably could have happened for the Chargers is the Ram winning the Super Bowl, because now Spanos sees his investment as we might be losing LA. We need to go try to win a lot of games right now. That's the only way you could see that in a positive light. We are the Shamelessly Positive podcast, so I'm going to try to spin the Rams winning the Super Bowl to our positive.
I like that.
I don't think it's Tom Telesco is generally conservative, but I think it's because our ownership doesn't want to spend money.
Well, and they got a lot of court dates coming up, so gotta be careful there.
They got a lot of relatives coming after all the money.
So might as well spend it while you got it. Don't give it to them
before you lose the team.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Rub Interesting 3465. Thank you for asking the question. Let's move it on now to Soulless Bolt Fan.
Certified fresh. We got a lot of new faces this episode.
Is awesome.
I love this
Off-season new fans.
Let's go.
Here we go. Soulless Bolt Fan. Got a question. It goes like this. Good day to you, lads. No, not to you, Raider fans. Heard you wished and go play tag in a busy interstate so you know what Carr feels like when he gets rushed by Bosa. Curl up and cry. A new NFL rule is released that requires every NFL team to add one movie martial artist to their team. Who is your pick for the Bolts? The correct answer, since you obviously get this wrong, is Bruce Lee. His agility and explosive speed would make him impossible to cover. Broken ankles, bitches. P.S. Any special powers do not count. Looking at you, Bulldog. Singh has to remain in Kung Fu Hustle Fantasyland. It's the worst Sean Connery impression. Every new fan wants me to do Sean Connery, and I'm so bad at it. I'm
going to IMDb because I know exactly who I want.
I love that you mentioned Singh from Kung Fu Hustle. I don't know if I must have had Kung Fu Hustle poster in the background or something, but thank you for noticing that. It's my favorite damn movie.
Does Poe from Kung Fu Panda count?
Ooh, nice pull. I like it.
Little Jack Black Panda?
Get a panda on the team?
There'll definitely be some comic relief for sure.
No, I'm going to go with Chuck Norris because I think he could play any position on the field.
Ah, nice.
Chuck Norris at a strong safety? Come on.
Yes.
He'll be roundhouse kicking people to death.
I like it.
Go with me. His name is Chong Lee.
Okay.
Have you ever seen the film Bloodsport?
Crouching Tiger.
You ever seen the film Bloodsport? The bad guy, the final boss
big guy
in Bloodsport. The guy that flexes his tits at the end and beats everybody up. And like that guy. Because I think he could actually, kick some ass. Like properly kick some ass. Not like movie kick some ass. Like ass.
Okay.
Like what? Like what?
You're welcome.
Oh, there's a clip right there that has to go in our intro. We'll talk about it later.
We will.
What's yours? Who's yours, Adam?
God. I don't, not Jackie Chan, because I think there could be a lot of trickery going on, but I don't know if that's quite the move.
If there was staged choreography, definitely Jackie Chan.
Yeah. If there's some theatrics,
real life fight, I don't know.
I changed mine.
Real life.
Chris Farley, Beverly Hills Ninja.
The Chargers pretty much are the Beverly Hills Ninjas with Tommy. Tommy T is the Beverly Hills Ninja.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris Farley, Beverly Hills Ninja.
I can't give an answer that's better than that.
Sorry. Didn't mean to. I just said
no, that's the best answer you could possibly give. I was going to say Donnie Yen, but like, no, Chris Farley, please. All day long.
All day long.
All right. Well, there you go. Soulless Boltfam. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Asking a great question. Yeah. Let's move it on now to Belly Full of Swans, who asked the question. Telesco's big board was wildly different than everybody else's last season, resulting in third-round selections of fourth-string wide receivers and tight ends while counting on Bulaga to play 17 games healthy in a COVID year. Brandon Staley was brought in to be a defensive guru, but had one of the worst defensive grades in the league with future Hall of Famers like Bosa and James on the roster. This happened in a year where both Mike Williams and Derwin James balled out and played full seasons. If we are staying hopelessly positive, are we enabling a GM to run amok with bad results and no pushback through the tenure of 3 underachieving coaches? Do we continue to treat Staley like a defensive guru if he requires his guys in his scheme and 4 Pro Bowlers on that side of the ball to see results? I'd say I'm asking for a friend, but we all know I don't have any friends. Okay. Love you. Bye.
Belly full of
anger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fiery swans.
Belly full of white dog shit. Step Brothers is a great movie.
Yeah. Great movie.
All right. Well,
all right. So what's the question in here? It's do we all hate Tommy T?
I mean,
it's layered. It's layered.
It's layered. Yeah. There's a lot going on here. So it's,
I think the one I'm taking the most out of is like the defense, like Staley's defense. He should have been good with the defense where they had Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
But
we had enough that if he was a guru, we should have been better than we were.
I think the sentiment that he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. Like I totally understand. Like I get it. We have a lot of talent on that side of the ball. I thought we could have been better than we were for sure.
We all would have thought that. Yeah.
Yeah. We are shamelessly positive, and I will continue to hold on to that because that's how I enjoy being a fan.
Right.
But I think that this is a first-time head coach, right? He's been a defensive coordinator 1 year, and yeah, he had a pretty stacked team that just went and won the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
But I don't think that takes away from him being a good coach. I just think that even if you look at the Broncos, like with Vic Fangio, all-star stud, you would consider him a guru because he's proven it. What did he do in his tenure as a head coach? He only brought in big-time defensive players over and over and over again. Those were his free agents. That's what they went after in the draft. They drafted cornerbacks in the first round, and like that's just because that's your philosophy. And I think that's what's going to get to. You have to have your guys. You have to have your guys to run your scheme. I don't think that's a cop-out. I think we all expected more, but I think we're willing to have some grace, being that he was a first year in our system, first year that our players were there. We had opportunities to play better, and some guys just underperformed for whatever reason. But I think going into this next year, we'll be able to really see a year of getting his free agents that he wants, going through a draft where he got to kind of pick and choose. He got to get rid of. We have a lot of free agents he's going to get rid of.
Yep.
So this is really going to be the year where it's like, yeah, are you a guru or are you not? Let's see. Let's proof is in the pudding.
Right.
100%.
Yeah. It's his opportunity to get the guys, whether it's through free agency or whether it's draft picks or any of that situation. This is the year to do it. Last year, you've got leftover guys from the previous regime. And like you were just saying, and we were talking about the different positions on the defensive line, it's like the guys were saying, like, yeah, this is going to take some time to get used to, as opposed to just tackling the one gap. Now I've got to tackle 2 gaps. And if this guy does this, I have to do this. Like, there's a lot more mentality to the game, which isn't a bad thing, obviously, but it takes some getting used to. There's some growing pains that go along with that. So if you get the guy that understands that better than the previous regime, then yeah, I think you're going to have a better performance out of that team. So I think, looking at it in that respect, you're asking the team a lot to change their complete not just the way they play, but their mindset. Like, I can only imagine you're playing in a stadium full of people, and now I've got to think differently. I've got to like process movements and plays differently. Like, that seems like you're asking a lot of that team. So yeah, it doesn't mean that we wanted them to not perform well. It was just, yeah, you know what? It's a growing pain of a first year coach, and let's see what happens this next year. This is the time to now really get judgy if we're gonna do that. So,
agreed.
All right, belly full of swans. Thank you for asking the fiery question. Let's move it on now to 33 cheese balls, who asked the question.
If the NFL went through a complete roster swap such that the entire Raiders roster swapped with the Chargers roster, would you then become a Raiders fan or remain a Chargers fan? Okay, love you, bye.
What a request. What a request. Holy crap.
Okay, he asked for a dolphin.
Of a dolphin.
Yeah.
I was good. So that's how I imagine they would sound.
I'd love to hear your dolphin.
Yeah. Hey, good on you, Adam, for giving it a shot.
Yeah.
I would have been like,
college
32 cheese balls, go kick rocks. I'm not doing a dolphin.
Here's my dolphin. It sounds like this.
That was a good dolphin. I respect that.
That was a great dolphin.
All right. Well, I hate this hypothetical of
no, I would
doing
still be a
roster.
Charger fan. Oh, there's like 3/4 of the Raiders roster or old ex-Chargers. I don't think it would be that shocking.
But you'd have Derek Carr.
Derek Carr would take some time. that would take some time to get used to, but yeah, that would be a little bit crappy. But
God,
yeah, I could not. The black and silver. There's no way I could possibly support that. Yeah, maybe I would just pick a whole brand new team. I don't know. I would just stick with the Chargers and suck it up. And in 10 years, it'll be a whole new roster anyways. And then we can move on. That's my final answer.
Okay.
I stayed with them leaving San Diego. Like I still get crap about that.
This hypothetical swap ain't got shit.
Nothing. 100%. Like going from San Diego to LA is way harder than just changing rosters and everything else stays the same. Yeah. For me,
it'd be too hard. Like honestly, the Herbert to Carr thing would just be like, I might throw up. Like,
but Carr's a free agent
day.
After next year. We only have him for 1 year, and then we just all sign a petition.
What if they give him a big contract?
No.
Boy, if it happened like that, where we had the experience of the team that we have, and then they switch, that would be really tough. If it could just be a world where like we just had the Raiders players in Chargers uniforms the whole time, that would be an easier pill to swallow, because then you wouldn't know any other different. But
yeah,
like
but 10 years ago, we were fans of the Chargers and we didn't have any of the players that we have now. You just develop those relationships.
10 years is a long time, Kyle.
5 years. Most of them were not there 5 years ago.
That's true.
It was like Keenan.
Right. Keenan and Bosa.
All right, I'd say a Charger fan.
Thank you.
Final
Good
answer.
Yeah.
Good answer.
I'd do it for you, Kyle.
Good answer.
All right. 33 cheese balls. Thank you for asking. There's a lot of tough hypotheticals out there to
I love them.
Episode. This is great. All right. Well, let's go out of Ask Boltfam with our old favorite, Jeebs.
The day silent.
Who asked the question?
Jeebs is our closer.
He is. He takes us out.
Always closing.
I am Cornholio. I need Tippy for my bunghole. Yeah.
Shut up, Beavis. You sound like an idiot. This podcast is pretty good.
Yeah. Way better than that other shit one.
What do you expect, Beavis? It was about the whack-ass Raiders.
Yeah. Stupid ass, motherfucking ass, dumbass, shit ass Raiders. Yeah.
Calm down, Beavis. I hate them too, but fuck.
But
let's ask these guys a question.
Yeah. Ask him. How are babies made?
Shut the fuck up, Beavis. Jesus. All this hate on TT going around. We have a top-heavy team, but our depth is scary bad. Shouldn't some blame be put on our scouts? Do GMs do their own scouting? Is this a dumb question? He does have the final say, but how much blame, if any, should be put on scouts? AJ Smith is really to blame for everything. Just saying. That's it for now. Maybe a more riveting question next time. Good to have you boys back. Bolt the up. Oh yeah. And the Raiders.
Yeah. Fuck the Raiders.
K, love you. Bye.
Beavis and Butthead. Classic.
Yeah, classic.
The silent D strikes again.
Yeah. Okay, so hey, here's somebody new to blame. The scouts. It's their fault.
I like the twist, Jeeves. It's not Tommy T's fault. It's just fire all the scouts.
It's not Tommy's fault. It's the scouts' fault.
Who else we got?
Let's dig deeper. Let's find out whose fault this is. No, it's I mean, okay, so let's take the question seriously. Like, how much credence how much sway do the scouts have when it comes to picking players or signing free agents or anything like that? Like, it's their job to look at talent and decipher what they're good at, what they're bad at.
You got to project. Yeah,
you got to look into a freaking crystal ball and figure out.
You got to trade Pipkins, these mofos.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, have you ever seen Moneyball?
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah, Brad Pitt just fires those scouts like it's nothing.
They're all like 75 too.
Yeah. Get out. You're out. All right. You don't like what I'm doing? Get out. I feel like that's what it's like.
Right.
It's like Tommy T is the mastermind behind all of it.
Mm-hmm.
He has these guys going out and getting info and coming back. But if he doesn't like something, he's still not going to draft him. He's going to get eyes on whatever that tape is and spend time looking and listening to interviews and so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, he's the man at the top. He's the one that gets chopped if things aren't going well.
Mm-hmm.
I barely know enough to say I don't like Tommy T. I can't start attacking scouts that I don't even know their names. I'm just a scout.
I'm curious which scout was the one that was like, you know what? Trey Pipkins.
You might want to swing for the fences on this Trey Pipkins fella.
Hear me out.
He got fired 2 years ago, and now he's sitting at home in his lazy boy like, I told you guys.
Knew it all along. 3 years, but it would
told you
off.
Pipkins was a pup, but now he's a dog.
He's a one contract. When he's done with that contract, he'll be ready to play.
Yeah,
he'll be ready to play.
I see the guy that was the scout for Trey Pipkins as the like really, really swampy guy from Waterboy. The guy talking like this, you don't know what he's saying, you can't understand what we're talking about. That's the guy that scouted Trey Pipkins.
100%. 100%.
So we don't know.
Bottom line,
to sum it up,
we don't know.
Just blame them all. Until we win a Super Bowl, blame everyone.
Blame everyone about everything.
Kill them all, let God sort them out.
That's right.
Put the women and children to bed and go hunting for dinner.
There you go. All right. Thank you, Jeeves, for asking the question. And thank you, everybody, for asking questions this episode. This was fun. It's off season, so the wackier the question, the more we laugh, and we love it. So, all right. Well, any Bolt predictions? Any thoughts going into this next week?
I think Thursday there's going to be a combine.
Underwear Olympics.
Yeah, and I think if I'm looking at it right, we're going to see. Oh yeah, Thursday is tight ends. I think we're going to find a cool tight end.
Ooh. Okay.
Or at least we're going to come out of the combine and be like, ooh, that should be who we get. I think Chargers
push our chips in with this guy.
Yeah. Kev's going to get real excited about someone, and we're not going to draft him for sure.
Bet your ass.
All right. That's a bold prediction, Kyle. We'll see if it pays off. All right. That's going to do it for us here at Charger Chat, folks. Don't forget to bolt up because we're ready for any squad, any place.
Go to prom with me. K, love you. Bye.
K, love you. Bye.
K, love you. Bye.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Are you a weakling? Do you like blood? Wish you could make your titties bounce? Then sign up today for Chong Lee's Dojo. We'll teach you how to kick some ass. Like properly kick some ass. Not like movie kick some ass. Like ass. Chong Lee's Dojo. Make them titties bounce.